Hey guys, I'm Londie. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I was actually on Twitter the other day and I saw that Lizzo was trending. Now, my first thought is, why is Lizzo trending this time? If you're on social media at all, you know that Lizzo is always trending and it's typically for something stupid, something about her weight, just something just dumb. So when I saw she was trending, I'm like, here we go. But I saw she was actually trending along with Harry Styles. Now, Lizzo, very famous musical artist, singer, if you don't know, Harry Styles is as well, right? So I saw that they were both trending and I'm like, okay, let me see what this is about. So the reason why Lizzo was trending was because Harry Styles was seen holding hands with actress Olivia Wilde. So what does that have to do with Lizzo? Once people saw that Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde were holding hands, everybody assumed, oh my gosh, they're dating, they're a couple. I'm not here to really discuss whether or not they're actually dating. This isn't like a gossip or pop culture channel. But I thought it was interesting that the reason that Lizzo was trending was because people were upset that Lizzo and Harry Styles have also been seen holding hands and just kind of being close with one another over the past, months, maybe even years. And people automatically assumed that they were friends. So here you have Harry Styles and Lizzo, and they're just friends. And then you have Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde, and oh my gosh, they're dating. As you can imagine, people were talking about the reason why is because of Lizzo's weight. So I'm going to be honest, I got a little bit triggered. I don't care about, people date who they want to date, right? But it's just the automatic assumption that because she is a plus size woman, that she could not possibly be dating Harry Styles. And that irritates me. I have to be completely honest, right? It made me think about some of the experiences that I have had personally with the same type of thing. One of my best friends, one of the closest people to me, is a man, right? He's a guy. I've been in a situation where people will automatically assume that we are just friends, or even more, that we are related. And I really think it's because of my weight. He's a tall, thin guy, and I'm not, right? So I can remember people literally asking, like, so are you guys cousins? Like, it's almost like it just has to be that we don't look anything alike. I should even, I'll insert a picture of us together. We don't look anything alike. Why would you assume that we are cousins? I don't think that most people really think about it when they say stuff like that. They don't see kind of the underhanded, sneak diss, if you will, when they say things like that. Some people probably do, but I don't think that most do. I just think that it's so ingrained in people's minds that this type of person would be with this type of person. And I can't completely just bash people for that, because we all have our own things, and so we automatically make assumptions sometimes, and we're wrong, and that's okay. We're human beings. So I kind of wanted to make this video just to shed light on that just because you see somebody with somebody else, maybe it's somebody that you wouldn't personally date, but that doesn't mean that no one else would date them. And I think that's kind of the biggest thing about this whole situation. It's the fact that because you have a preference, you wouldn't date a plus size person. So you just can't possibly imagine that someone else would. Like, for example, with me, I typically like taller guys. I typically like taller men. Not that I wouldn't date somebody short, but my preference is tall men. Now, just because I prefer tall men does not mean that if I see another woman with a short guy, I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, why would she be with him when he's short? There's no way she should be with him. There's no way she could be with him. He's short. And I'm certainly not going to do like how these trolls like to do and get to typing, on Twitter and this and that, and just making just rude and mean comments because you just can't imagine that someone could possibly like or be with someone who looks like me. It's just frustrating. It's irritating. There was like another time this girl was blatant with it. Now this is somebody that I felt like she was being mean spirited. Looking back, I wish that I would have said something, but you know how somebody will say something to you and it doesn't really register until like later. Thank God that it didn't. Okay. I was at Subway. This was years ago. I was at Subway and I was with my brother. And my nephew, his son, was with us as well. And so we stopped at Subway to get something to eat. And the girl, back there making the sandwiches, I noticed she keeps looking at me. She keeps looking at my brother. My brother is a very handsome model type guy. Okay. So she's looking at me. She's looking at my brother. And my nephew is standing right next to me. I'm like messing with his hair or something, whatever. So she keeps looking and I'm like, okay, this is weird. Like, what is she staring at? So my brother had got his food and he was about to walk out and I think my mom wanted something. And so he said, hey, mom wants X, Y, and Z. So I'm like, okay. So after he says that, the girl looks at me and says, oh, that's your brother. And I'm like, yeah, we hadn't had a conversation at all. Like we weren't talking about anything. So it was just weird. Like, why would you say that? I haven't even, we weren't having a discussion. It was just strange. I got my food and then once I left, I'm like, she said that because she was trying to figure out what my brother was doing with me. Like, and then had the nerve to say that to me out loud. Now I'm telling you, it's nothing but God. That I really didn't process it. And I really feel like God does that sometimes on purpose. I really didn't process it in the moment because if I had, I would have said something. But it's all good. When she said it, it was just like, wow, you just can't wrap your mind around. You're literally, instead of focusing on your job, you're sitting there or standing there really trying to figure out what my own brother is doing with me because of how he looks and presumably because of how I look. Needless to say, I can completely relate to all of this stuff. People making assumptions about Lizzo and Harry and all that. And it's just, it's just annoying. So I can be honest and admit that those type of situations, they hurt. They can make plus size people, men and women, feel bad about themselves. And it may not even be intentional from the other party, or it may be. Either way, those are the kind of things that I know for me, especially back then, could really, even subconsciously, dig into my self-esteem. The way that I view myself would be changed or would be worsened based off of these little subtle digs by random people who don't know me. So my point in doing this video is to shed some light on these kind of like unwritten rules where we automatically assume that this kind of person does not belong with this kind of person, and to maybe get you to just see things from a different point of view, because that's really what it is. It's my preference is not going to be your preference, and I'm not going to bash you for what you prefer. It's okay if you don't like plus size women or men. It's fine. But I'm not going to go on a rampage and be mean about somebody else who might. And I'm not going to automatically assume that because I don't, you won't. So that's just pretty much that. But I also wanted to just, if you've been on the other side, like me, in these type of situations, I just want you to know, like, You're not alone, and don't let this type of stuff dictate the way that you view yourself, because that's really what matters. Okay? We live in a world where, I mean, things have changed as far as, plus size people have gotten way more vocal about the way that they're going to be treated, and they're not going to tolerate certain things. And, brands have jumped on, no body shaming and that type of stuff. But we live in a world full of imperfect, sometimes mean spirited people. So it's never going to be perfect. People are people, okay? They have their own issues that have nothing to do with you, that led them to be the way that they are, to say and do some of the things that they do. So you have to make sure that the way that you view yourself is stable, right? Now, I'm not saying things won't hurt. I'm not saying that, those things aren't triggering, but I cannot let what someone else says about me dictate the way that I feel about myself. Okay? I am beautifully, fearfully, wonderfully made, and so are you. Please don't let this type of situation, or any type of situation where people are just being mean and nasty and all that, please don't let that tear down your self-esteem. Please don't let that dictate your self-worth, because it doesn't. It does not. Who I am, who you are, goes so far beyond your outer. Your value has nothing to do with the way that you look. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. I just kind of wanted to get on here and just kind of talk to you, from my heart about that. I know that if I felt that way, I'm not the only one. And I know that I'm not the only one who has experienced these type of situations where people make these type of assumptions, and it's really based on the way that I look. If you've had any of these type of experiences and you feel comfortable sharing, go ahead and drop down in the comments and let's talk about it. I love hearing from you guys, and it really encourages me, and I'm sure it encourages other men and women, especially plus size men and women who have had these same similar experiences. It makes you realize and feel that you are not alone. Okay, guys, so I'll see you in the next video. Bye.